Welcome to the Mommy Therapist. They're ready for you.
I'm Kristi.
And I'm Sasha.
We are moms who are also therapists to moms.
And we are passionate about supporting all moms through motherhood transitions, challenges, and beyond.
And we're so happy that you're here today. This is episode 15.
Thank you for listening to our last episode where we talked about trauma triggers and spontaneous moments of connection.
I noticed the spontaneous moments this week.
Did you?
Every time
I did too.
There were these little brief things, bits from my kids maybe, or even just like, I have a few minutes. So I'm not just going to sit down and scroll. I'm going to see if any of my kids want to connect a little bit, you know?
Yeah. P came home from spending time with friends last night and was just wired. Like like too much sugar, teenage hormones, so excited. And I was like, you're not going to sleep anytime soon. So sit down, let's chill and watch a movie. She ended up falling asleep on the couch.
Oh,
it was so
nice.
it was kind of cute, but we didn't finish the movie. And so she's like, Mom, we're going to finish this tomorrow night, right? And I'm like, yes.
Yes, we are.
Because Thursday night's our night to hang out.
Yeah.
So
I love that. Hey, we got a really awesome comment on our podcast on episode 9.
Love it.
That's the one where we talked about life-changing sentences, matrescence.
Oh, gosh. Yeah.
We got a comment from Amanda Kay. She said, love this episode. I had never heard of matrescence and found that really interesting. I also love the tip on having your night. I learned this from Sasha years ago, and my husband and I have been having our own nights nearly every week since. It gives us a guilt-free day off from the obligations of being a spouse and parent, and we really look forward to the break, no matter how old our kids get.
That's right.
It's a great tip. I love it too.
That's my wonderful sister.
Yeah.
Love
Oh, it
her.
is?
Yes.
Oh, yes. Thank
Shout
you,
out to
Sasha's
her.
sister.
Yes. I love her.
Wonderful. Okay, well, we have something exciting happening this episode.
We do.
We have a guest in the studio. Say hey.
Hi.
This is our dear friend and colleague, Betty Flores, and we're so excited that she's here.
Tell us who you are, how many kids you have, and how old they are, and then what brings you to this profession, and one thing about you outside of motherhood.
Awesome. Yeah. So my name is Betty Flores. I have 2 kiddos. One is 7 and one is 5. They feel so old.
Oh my
now.
gosh, they got so big.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe she's 5.
I know.
We had babies. We did. We had babies at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yep. What brought me into this space was my own postpartum experience. So OCD, anxiety, and depression with my second. And then one thing about myself, I have played soccer since I was 5 and have had 2 ACL surgeries because of it. So
Oh, my word.
I think I will
didn't know
pause
that.
if I have to have a third, but we will see. As of right
Wow.
now, I'm still
Interesting.
kicking it.
That's
You
funny
are-
because
take this seriously.
Amberly
It's just so
was
fun.
also a soccer
yeah.
player. So that's funny that we've had 2 soccer player therapists in here.
You're a big deal, Betty.
You are a big deal. You know this, right?
so sweet.
A fun
No,
fact,
really.
Betty was my very first supervisor when I started working at this clinic. She helped me through some hard times, both personally and professionally. And I just think you're wonderful. And I'm happy you're here.
Thank you.
Very
I
exciting.
looked up to both of you. I'm like, oh
Are
my
you
gosh, I'm a
kidding
supervisor for Kristi. And then Sasha, I was like, oh my gosh.
What? Are you kidding me
No.
right now? Okay.
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 All
Because
right.
I look up to you. So just so you know. We just admire each other. It's great. It's all good.
Yeah. Let's move into check-in. Sasha, you're first.
Sounds good. Mentally, I'm really just thinking about my day. It's going to be a busy day. And then, and looking forward to getting to spend time with my kiddos this evening because I haven't really been in that space with them at all this week. So emotionally, I am... Can I just use content again this week?
Always.
I mean, that's just how I'm feeling right now. I'm content and excited to be in this space with you guys right now. Physically, allergies, that's all. My eyes are still itchy and watery and probably look bloodshot, and I look beautiful. I know. It's great. Self-care, self-compassion. I went and got my nails done and I cut my hair off. I embraced the fact that it was falling out and needed to just trim it off because it was looking scraggly and yucky. And so I just went, okay, we're cutting it down. And so that was really fun. Socially, we have plans to do a game night with some friends on Friday. So
I love that. You love games.
I do love games, and we haven't done it in so long. And these are our game friends. These, we play board games with them all the time. And I got a text message from her a while ago, and she's like, when are we playing Catan again? Because we have not played in like a year. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. This needs to happen.
No.
So,
the answer's no.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. So I'll jump in. Mentally, I am thinking about how last night, you guys, I watched my oldest boy play baseball for the first time.
Oh.
And it was like such a big like mom moment.
Cute.
Watching him, because he's tried a bunch of different sports. You know, like we've done the flag football. We did the basketball a couple times. He really does it mostly for the social aspect, not for the actual sport. But we've been watching baseball a lot, and we play catch a lot. So he's never actually like played on a team, and it was the first time. And he volunteered to be catcher, which is not easy, but he did so great, and he had so much fun. And I was just like beaming of like, my little boy. And he looks so cute in his uniform. I'm like, I want to be a baseball mom. Not really, because it gets super intense and competitive, but this is not a competitive league. So
those are
really
the
fun.
moments when I'm like crying, right? Like watching P did color guard last summer, and I like seeing her do it in the parade. I was just like sobbing, and Derek's like, why are you crying about this? I'm like, because it's just
my child is doing something.
Growing up,
they
it's
want to
so
do
fun.
something, and it's good for them, and they're having a
Yes.
good time. And it
I
was just,
cry at all of her orchestra concerts too. I'm like, ugh.
yeah, it was really good. Emotionally, I'm feeling a little bit anxious just because we were rushing this morning. And also like that excited anxious to like be here with you two. Physically, I'm fighting a little bit of a cold. So if my voice sounds a little different, that's why. But self-care, because I had a cold last night, I let myself take a nice hot bath.
Good job.
And my husband did all the bedtimes, so I didn't have to worry about that. Although I couldn't go to bed early because there was a hockey game on, an important hockey game.
Goodness.
And luckily, we just called it, and I was like, I have to go to bed. And it's a good thing we did, because there was a double overtime last night, so we would have been up super late. So,
Oh my god.
but we lost. But that's okay. But it's fun to watch sports with my husband, so that's also a little bit of like a self-compassion thing.
That's a lot of fun.
Yeah, holding that space together. So, yeah. Socially, I think I've been taking a little bit of a break since I got back from Oklahoma, just trying to take care of my family and myself. And you know, when you like are done doing a whole bunch of stuff and your body's like, I think we'll get sick now. So I think that's what's happening. So
I think we'll get sick now.
But this weekend is my super self-care weekend, which means
Okay.
I have my lash appointment, and I have therapy, and I have a massage. So Monday I will be a new woman.
Yay.
So that's me. Betty, do you want to check in with us?
Yeah, I don't know why I can't think of mentally.
What's on your
You
mind?
can't, What are your thoughts?
What have you been thinking about lately?
No thoughts. Just
No
kidding.
thoughts.
No thoughts. I chatted with you guys briefly, but I'm doing kind of like a whole rebrand on my website. Not necessarily a rebrand, but kind of pulling like my brand all together, because it's kind of like, it feels like very pieced together. So that's really exciting. And I feel like that's taken a lot of like focus.
Yeah.
I'm like, who am I? Like,
Yeah.
what is my business? You know, like, what does that mean?
How do you want people to perceive you?
Yeah, because right now it's like my face and my name, you know, but I want it to kind of all be cohesive.
I like that.
I'm really excited about that. Yeah. Emotionally, I'm super excited. Anxious, I was rushing. I'm like, hello, brain.
We were all in that space this morning. Yeah.
And PMDD is peaking, so there's that too. But like the excitement's overpowering that right now. So I'm just going to ride that wave for now.
Love it.
Physically, PMDD kind of like rocks me physically too. So usually I am like a morning workout person. This kind of leads into the self-compassion piece as well, of being like, I need rest. And so I'm going to allow myself to rest, sleep in, and I'll figure out movement later type of a thing. So yeah, that's a tricky one for me at times, which we'll talk about later as well.
Love it.
Self-care, self-compassion, kind of the same thing of like slowing down, allowing for my body to slow down, taking care of myself. What does that look like? And that kind of shifts during this time frame as well. But how do I not put more on my plate?
Yes.
Even when I want to during
Even
this
when
time.
you want to. I am so the same, especially in the spring.
Yeah.
I know. It feels
so,
like it's
let's
time to be
go.
productive now.
Right.
We've got stuff to do.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
get it
that
done.
renewal of energy, and I'm suddenly more motivated, and I'm
Uh-huh.
like, we're going to clean out the entire house.
Yes.
Oh,
Or
yeah.
we're going to redo the entire lawn, or we're going to buy a car, you know, and it's like,
Buy a car.
stop.
I'm cleaning all the baseboards or all the cupboards right now.
Right this very minute. I know I've got notes
Yeah.
to do, but I'm doing this instead.
Just kidding, Psycho. Decided otherwise. Yeah. Socially, we don't have much going on socially this weekend, but last weekend, and this timed with my cycle very well and beautifully, is I had started going to a bunco league with my daycare provider, and so
That's so cool.
It's
You know
been
what's
so fun.
Funny, I was thinking that we need to talk to our little therapist friends and
Yeah.
start a bunco.
Bunko.
It would be so
Wouldn't
fun.
that be fun?
She does themes and spotlights.
Oh, yeah, it's so
Oh,
much fun.
we need to find
It's
someone
like
then, because
it's
I don't
like
got that
an
energy.
activity. Yeah, I mean, we could trade off.
Yeah, you trade off. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So everybody trades off hosting the event.
And when it's at your
so-
house, you pick the
You
theme
get
or
to
how
pick
much
the
you want to go for it.
Yeah.
That would be
Okay.
fun. Or if there's a baseline fee or whatever that you put in. I don't know. She does prices. It's a whole thing.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Anyway.
It's fun.
Things to research. Awesome. Okay. Well, we are so excited to have you here, Betty, because not only do we admire you just as a woman and as a person, but you know so much from working with postpartum moms and your specialties and your own experiences that I'm excited for you to talk to our listener,
Yeah,
our friend,
for sure.
and kind of share a little bit of knowledge that we don't have and experiences that we don't have. So our first question is kind of tell us your story. Tell us your mom's story and how you came to be a clinician.
Yeah, so mom's story and becoming a clinician, at least in this space, kind of collided or joined together at the same time. So I was an inpatient therapist at what is now known as HMHI, working with children and adolescents for the first part of my career. And things were kind of just going along. I always thought I'd be in that space. I thought that was going to be my passion. And then I got pregnant, and pregnancy was fine and my deliveries were fine. But then postpartum kind of hit in a different way that I did not anticipate. I almost got hit by a bus, what is happening? What am I experiencing? My first was pretty colicky and cried just a lot. And part of that's was she colicky or did I just not know what I was doing? What was happening? What is soothing? What is swaddling? How do I pick up cute? All the things that I think was it temperament, and also was I an anxious mom and didn't know. So I had an established therapist that I loved and adored, but I went to them postpartum expressing literally of I hate my life. What did I do? I want to go back to my previous life. And they very much minimize that of just but isn't this the best ever? And I was like, what did I just say? Did you hear me?
It's that expectations of motherhood that society puts on all of us that makes us feel so incredibly guilty because we're this is not fun.
No,
this is not enjoyable.
This is not what I thought it was going to be. Yeah. And I remember talking to my pediatrician as well. And even my midwife at the time, I don't know that I expressed so much. I don't know. I did to my ped of when does this stop of and they were just this is part of being a mom. You're going to be tired. And I'm
just put up with that.
I'm so sleep deprived. I'm not myself. I am responding in ways that are super reactive. I'm not enjoying this. There's no part of this that I really enjoy, and
Did you have language for that at the time?
no, I had no idea.
Okay.
I had no idea what that was or what that experience was. And I was having a lot of intrusive thoughts, which I didn't realize were intrusive thoughts or images. So very much obsessions within OCD of somebody sexually harming my child and thinking that, oh, this is my therapist brain. I know so much about sexual abuse or assault and of my mom brain is just being protective, but then asking for pictures and updates. And I'm what are the pictures actually going to do or updates in regards to safety or keeping my child safe? The compulsive behavior behind it, right? Now that I have language of what that was.
Yeah. So OCD is convincing, but not reliable, right?
Of oh my gosh, what if this is happening? Okay, I'm going to ask for an updated picture.
Yeah, exactly. That's going to fix it, right? It'll fix it for a second.
The updated picture is going to tell me that they're not being harmed. Make it make sense.
Yeah.
Make it make sense, right?
It doesn't
Like,
make sense. That's the problem. That's the problem
yeah.
with OCD.
Totally,
Yeah.
totally. And the anxiety about naps. Did they nap? How long? This is going to protect like our nighttime sleep, right? Just that very controlling kind of rigid piece of it. Yeah. And I remember my midwife as well. Like, I'm like, when do you know that this isn't normal? And she's like, you'll know. What is happening?
What do you mean I'll
so there was
know?
just like so many providers that I felt like failed me.
Yeah.
That I actually stopped seeing my therapist after I think 1 or 2 appointments, and I was like, this is not helpful by any means.
How long ago was this?
This was with my first,
Okay,
so 7.
7.
Seven,
Okay. So
yeah.
there should have been more
yes.
education around it at that point.
Agreed. And then I kind of white knuckled it through the rest of that postpartum, to be honest. And then there was like a window with my husband, and I was like, hey, if you want to get pregnant, this is it, or we're going to be a 1-child family, you know?
Yeah.
And I remember once I got pregnant with my second, I'm like, how can I make this better? Googling postpartum therapist, what does that mean? And stumbled across Postpartum Support International's website. Did their basic and advanced training during my pregnancy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And then
You were like, I'm going to be my
I
own
am going
clinician.
to figure this out, and then found a therapist to ensure that like I had the support necessary during that time.
Did that help you survive your second? Did it show up the same for you?
It did not. So it was so interesting to like think about it now. So my second ACL tear was actually 3 months postpartum
Oh, geez.
with my second. And that took away a lot of my physical activity or ways to cope postpartum. And so I was actually more depressed, and I didn't realize, I was like, why was I more depressed? And I was talking to a craniosacial therapist or provider, and I was like, just like, do-do-do. And I was like, oh my gosh, the dots are connecting. This is why I was depressed. Like one of my biggest outlets postpartum was taken away. Like I had to cope in a way that I was not used to. My body was not mine, but also like that outlet, that physical movement had to be shifted.
Yeah, and that's probably how your nervous system was used to regulating itself. And now what?
Totally.
Now what?
Totally.
And
like,
number
what do I do?
2, you're also chasing your oldest around.
Right.
Because she was 3 at the time?
She was 2.
She was 2.
Okay, how did you even have the ability to play soccer to tear your ACL at 3 months postpartum? Just
That's a
saying.
good question.
I don't know that I was doing it well.
Maybe that's why. That's what happened.
So they said that like with my first ACL tear, like I didn't rehab as well because I was like, oh, I tore my ACL. I can't play soccer. Let's get pregnant.
That feels, again, not logical.
That's kind of like.
But I'm like, I'm not going to be moving. I'm not going to be playing the sport I want. This is how I
Right.
cope.
That's true. Yeah.
It's kind of like
This
how
is a
I
good way
got
to
a
heal.
puppy 5 months
Yes.
postpartum with breast.
You sure
yeah,
did.
That was great.
Let's get pregnant. How do I slow down? And my body will have to slow down because I'll be pregnant.
Yeah.
So many things.
Our brains.
Hindsight.
It's always 2020. Connecting the dots again. So now you are a full-time clinician? Part-time? Yeah.
Part-time. I would say part-time. So I worked at a group practice and then recognized that like I really wanted like my own autonomy and scheduling and picking out my clients and like really I guess weeding out the clients that I wanted to have, which I thought was really important. So I started my own practice. I would say in comparison to people here in Utah, it's very part-time. Like I probably see 12 to 15 clients a week, 15 max, and am a mom and, you know, juggling other things in between. So
Yeah. How do you manage that work-life balance of being the working mom while meeting your own needs?
yeah, I mean, I think one, setting boundaries of how many clients I will see. I love connecting and socializing. So I do a lot of networking, which like people are like, that's work. And I'm like, yeah, but I get to like talk and connect and
It's fun work.
get to know who, get to know who I like want to have in my space, in my bubble, in my circle of people. That's a big one. I was at a doula conference and I was like, I maximize self-care for me. So that is not something that I struggle with. Like, I take time to read. I take time to work out. Again, my kids are older though. And so that looked very different even 3 years ago. Right. But now I'm like, I have time to read because they can self-play.
Yes.
Right. I have a soccer league. I have friends that I can connect with. I take time to take care of myself in all the ways.
And it sounds like you have a supportive partner.
I do.
To do that.
I do. I have a supportive partner to do that.
Who's also a therapist, right?
He's a middle school counselor, but close.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he also, like, we can have these conversations of being like, this is where I'm at. I need support now, you know? But yeah, I have a lot of privilege in my scheduling and having a supportive partner. We also have family support here when we need it. And we have a daycare provider that is super flexible. So if I'm like, hey, I decided I wanted 3 sessions today or add a day in, she's like, okay, I'll take care of, you know, I'll be like, can so-and-so come? Yep.
You have the village.
She's got
I
a
have
You
the
have
village.
the dream.
I
That's
have
amazing.
the village.
So you have a village, you have support.
Yes.
How did you do that?
How did you get a village?
Like for moms like who maybe don't have family close by or aren't quite in that place and are struggling with support, like how would you advise them or what would you tell them to do?
Yeah. I will say also that, like, my clientele tends to be pretty privileged as well. I think the barrier for them and what comes up for them often is their own pride and what it means to be a perfect mom or a good mom, which is this level of like selflessness, of like, well, I should be able to do this and I shouldn't need a break. And why do I need a break? And so that, like, I think their biggest barrier is identifying, but also allowing for that support. Even when it comes to their partners at times of like, well, they're working all night. I'm like, cool. And
Yeah. And they're also a parent.
Yeah.
So
I was talking about this with a client recently too. I'm like, society doesn't help either. Just in the sense of like, moms have more maternity leave. So we have more responsibility from the get-go. So it doesn't feel like a partnership. You really have to like create that within like your own family system and like let go of the guilt that's not yours to, like, why do you feel guilty for your partner waking up or having to leave work early or like,
right, like
hello?
we're all sacrificing to take care of these kiddos because they belong to both of us.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's one thing I talk about often in regards to partners. I'm like, how much did their life change when you guys had a child and yours? And like, why?
I kind of want to
That's a good question.
veer off into something. Like, do you feel like dads are shifting now where they want to be more involved,
Absolutely. I see that.
but they don't know how? Because they didn't get an example, you know?
I kind of feel like that's where social media has come in a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know. I see a lot of like the millennial dad.
Yes.
They're like,
Yes.
they're finally connecting.
Yes.
They're, you know, the videos of moms going, everything I had to tell my husband before I left to go out of town for the weekend. And it was like nothing because I didn't marry a loser.
Those are like my favorite, favorite trends.
But I feel like that's coming up now. Is like our dads are now more emotionally intelligent and more emotionally aware. And my husband and I actually thought about this of what is that going to look like in 20 years, 30 years when we have emotionally intelligent grandfathers who it's like, it's not just grandma. You know how this has been a thing? Like you drop your kids off at grandma's house and like grandpa's there.
Right.
Like he's not going to do anything.
He'll
But
hang
now
out with
it's
you
like,
if you watch a movie.
right? But now my husband's like, I'm going to be a grandpa who's like, I'm going to change diapers. I'm going to play. I'm going to read with the kids. Like I'm going to do all of that. And like, what example is that going to set for your boys? I'm like, it's just like a whole thing.
Okay,
So
but
yes,
here's the thing,
I do
too.
think it's shifting.
Yeah, but the thing for my girls too is my husband is giving them an idea of what they are looking for in a partner.
Absolutely.
So it's like, I'm loving that.
I know.
I'm loving it.
Yeah.
That's like the one thing that I'm like, I wish I had a boy. But like, here we are, raising feminists.
Hey,
I love it.
You know what? I always said I'm going to raise these like proud, like independent girls, and then now I have a 14-year-old and an 11-year-old, and I'm like, why did I do that?
Yeah.
What is this happening?
This is harder.
Yeah. I mean, my 5-year-old's like, what? No.
Yeah.
Like already, I'm
no.
like,
I'm not doing
deep
that.
breaths. Thank you. Thank you.
But I do think there is space that as we sit with moms, having them teach what they can expect from their partner and like working on that because some men aren't aware of maybe how to step in.
Right.
But the more that we encourage our moms of like, no, you deserve the support.
Yeah.
He's also a parent.
Yeah.
He also gets to sacrifice.
Yep.
He also gets to figure it out.
Yeah.
There's more than one right way to parent your child.
Right.
And it's okay if it looks a little bit different.
Yeah.
And so I think in that space too, we're encouraging moms to teach or model or expect more from their husbands,
Yes.
which again is increasing
piece.
this whole
No.
idea of the better dad.
Yeah, I agree. I think there can be like this maternal gatekeeping or perfectionist piece of it
Yes.
of the right way, right?
Yeah,
And
like, I'm the only one that can do this.
well, and I'm like, does it really matter how the baby is held or changed or put
No.
to bed? It's like,
As long as it's done.
as
right.
long as it's done. Yeah.
Yeah. You want to know one of my exposures?
Please.
When I was going through my treatment, I had to sit on my night off at the table and watch Derek put all the kids, like do dinner and chores and put all the kids to bed. And I just had to sit there quietly and not say anything.
Not say anything.
Hey,
Not be like, can you? Don't forget. Actually,
Don't you think you should get up and start dinner now? Like,
This is the time.
It's time. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Well, and
It
when
was
it's
so
at
weird.
like this is something that comes up with clients too, but when it's at the cost of your child, and I'm like,
Yes.
okay, but what's the cost? Is there a safety? Is there,
There wasn't, and
Yeah.
he still got him to bed on time. It just wasn't on the same timeline as
Right.
mine.
Yeah.
And honestly, they listened better to him anyway. And
yeah.
so yeah,
is
he
it-
doesn't have to start as early as I do.
Is it dangerous or is it just different?
Yes.
Yeah, it's
Yes,
just different.
that's
Yeah,
right.
so that was the whole thing. I had to sit there and watch, and I was like, oh my gosh.
That is really funny.
I know we pivoted. I can't even remember what the question was.
Oh
now,
yeah, what
but-
we were talking
We were
about.
talking about how to build that village.
Oh yes.
So
yeah.
like I think building that with your partner is
Yeah.
part of that.
partner.
And what else?
Paying if you need to, right? But
Yeah.
also like you have to make connections to build village, right? So if that's friends, if that like, which we've utilized too, but I'm like, you have to build that. And sometimes that's uncomfortable and vulnerable. And it's like, I don't want to do that on top of this. And I'm like, again, at what cost, you know? And how are you showing up as a mom, as a parent, if you don't have a village, if you try to do it all by yourself?
Yeah.
You know, I want to point this out too, because I was talking to my sister this weekend. She's in a different state. There's no family there. She doesn't have any support outside of paid support or her husband. And she's been taking on more responsibilities, right? So she's like, I feel like my husband needs to just kind of get used to it. And I was like, you know what I think? I think you need to get your kids more on board about doing things independently.
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't think that you need to be supervising all of it all the time. So like
Sure.
support too is teaching your kids to be more independent
Yes.
and like get up in the morning and get themselves
Yes.
dressed and do the routine.
Yes.
So that you're not the one constantly on them.
Yeah.
Yes.
Micromanaging
Yes.
their every move.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Agreed. And that can start, that can start with chores, being like, what is appropriate? What is not appropriate? Right. And like the older they get, the more independent they become and the more help. There's so many things about like mental load or like or if you see it, do it, right? Or whatever. And it's like, how do you teach your children to do that as well?
Absolutely.
Not just your partner, you know,
Yes.
but that can be such a huge support.
Yeah. And it's actually like, it's a good thing. It's a gift to
Yes.
teach them responsibility and independence. It's
Yes.
not like we're being mean to them or punishing them, right?
Right.
This is
we
something-
are. We are terrible mothers.
That's what the 14-year-olds will tell you.
My 7-year-old, why do I have to wipe the table?
Do this.
What?
Why do I have to wipe the? Well, your
Because
sister.
you're the one that spilled on it. I didn't.
Because you're part of this family. And we
Do you
all
want to
help
wash
out.
the waste the baseboards instead?
Do you want to get
Or
a
toilet?
toothbrush?
Do you want to do my chores?
Yeah.
I'll give you my list. Yeah, this is something I also have to reframe for some of my clients of when you make connections with other safe adults for your kids, you aren't doing something wrong. Like that is a gift to them. The more adults that love your kids,
Yes.
that are connected, that will protect them, that will take care of them, that is so great.
Yes.
Right? When they have aunts and uncles and neighbors and it's like, yeah, we love all of these grown-ups and you know you can trust them.
Yes.
Oh, what a beautiful gift.
Well, and I think a lot of anxiety OCD can come up within that, right?
Yes.
Of like, who can I trust and how can I trust? And I think that in itself is an exposure. Again, at what cost do we continue doing it
Yeah.
ourselves? And also, like, in regards to relationships, we want our kids to trust other people. Like, what a scary world if it's like, the only person I want to be with is my mom forever.
Right.
Yeah.
I can never.
That's not a healthy child.
No,
I
it's
can
not
never
a healthy
leave her.
attachment.
No,
Right.
it's not.
Yeah.
And that can, yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of OCD, this is something that you specialize in, specifically our postpartum OCD. Teach us. Tell us what this is, how to recognize it. You know, what are some maybe myths about it or misconceptions? Okay, how do you determine it's OCD versus just anxiety? Like, teach us, Betty.
Yeah. So I think the biggest thing in regards to OCD and anxiety, and the simplest way I explain it is it sticky? Does it keep coming back? Does it keep looping? Right. Whereas anxiety might be like, I'm worried about this thing. Let's fact check. Let's logic. Let's get reassurance. Moving on. I'm good. Whereas OCD is like, oh no, we got reassurance. Let me go ask 5 other people, or like, let me Google, or let me Reddit, or let me ChatGPT it, or I don't feel just busting up.
So is it sticky?
Is it sticky?
Does it keep coming back to it?
Does it keep coming back? Yeah. So I'll use mine as an example. So anytime I left, like even with my partner, which in fact I didn't tell him ever, being like, what if he harms her? What if he touches her? What if something happens? You know, like people I trust. And I'm like, does this make it make sense? You know,
Yeah.
and obviously there's uncertainty with anyone, but of just like, what if constantly, you know, we'd go on a date. Well, what if something's happening? What if I don't know? What if they're not going to bed on time? What if that screws up the night? You know, like, and so again, kind of that loopy, and it can be so many different things that make people feel like they're being a good mom. Well, if I'm not researching this, then how is it going to get better? And like, how many times have you researched it?
How many times have you read the same thing over and over again at a different site just to be sure that it's accurate?
Right.
Yeah.
Or how many sites, how different was the information? Well, there was one, okay, cool. But what was the consensus? We don't need to read 5 to 7 sites and reread them. Because it's like, I like to call it, I like to describe it as like a mosquito bite. That's scratching the itch. And how many times are we going to scratch that itch before before it feels better?
Right.
When it's bleeding and the poison's out. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
when is it out? Yeah. At what point
But
is
now
it
it's
out?
bleeding. Yeah.
Totally. Is this normal in my child? Is this developmentally appropriate? So again, there's a lot of gray that people might be like, oh, this is just anxiety. But again, it's the compulsive behavior of what am I doing with that thought or that worry when the worry comes in.
Any myths or misconceptions about postpartum OCD that you've seen or that you wish people understood?
Yeah, again, I think a lot of people think it's like contamination where it's like, I'm so worried about the bottles or their clothes or like people washing their hands, the whole gamut of things. Like, is this pediatrician's office clean or dirty? Now I have to wash all of the things touching the car seat, you know, which yes, contamination is a part of it, or organization of like things have to be a certain way, you know, or I want things particular, which is not necessarily OCD, it's OCPD, but I would say that those like are the bigger myths of it, or the biggest misconceptions is like, this is what OCD means and looks like. Whereas like there's so many different subtypes, which I know Sasha briefly touched about, but there's harm OCD. Like what if something happens to my child? What if I harm my child or harm comes to my child? There can be taboo topics like pedophilia. What if I liked how I wiped my child? Am I aroused? Those type of things. There's relationship OCD, of like, what if my partner doesn't love me? What if we're not in the right relationship? What if I made the wrong choice of having a child with this partner? Morality. Am I being a good enough mom? What if I'm not? What is a good mom? Is this the right choice? What if I'm not making the right choice? What if this harms my child forever? And there was something that a client said, what if this choice F's them up, you know? And I'm just like, we are, and this is kind of where the exposure, the uncertainty, all of these questions and all of these what ifing is trying to gain certainty in something that, like, we live in uncertainty every day.
Yeah, we can't have it.
We can't have it. And we're not, this is what they're like, well, if there isn't certainty, what do I do? And I'm like, well, we're not like willy-nillying it through life. Like, we're still doing things to be protective. Like, we still wear a seatbelt while we drive the car. We're not like,
we're being reasonable about the choices that we're making.
Yeah, we're being protective, but knowing like, hey, if I get in my car, I can't prevent a car accident, but I'm making these active choices to be more protective. And that's what I have control in doing, right? Like, I have control of who I trust with my children. Could something happen? Maybe, maybe not, right? But if I trust this person, I have to lean into that trust versus being like, are you a good person? Am I checking my baby to make sure they're safe and they didn't get harmed, right? Like, yeah.
So making reasonable choices, reasonable decisions, and then letting the uncertainty sit.
Yes. Yeah.
Right? Like, I'm not going to leave my child with a complete stranger. I'm going to make a good choice as to who I'm leaving them with, but then I'm going to sit with the uncertainty that
Something could,
you can't 100% trust everybody all the time. And if something happens, I'll be able to figure it out.
well,
right?
and I will have to, right? Like, I will have to in that moment. Another thing that comes up too is like catastrophizing. Oh, I'm just going to plan or protect, or like, I had this thought that could happen. And if that happens, how do I plan to then feel better if that happens? Now I've got 20 plans that may or may not happen, and how I'm going to respond to those plans. Right. Or like, I got in the car and I put my baby in the back seat, in the car seat, and like, I just had an image of like, what if this car just like ran into me? So now I am played out the scenario of my baby's funeral, and I'm now upset about my baby's funeral that hasn't happened.
Right.
Of
Yeah.
like,
And isn't happening. And I'm not present in the moment with my child.
Right. And how am I
because
driving
That's
if I'm not present?
probably
Right.
erratic.
Or
Yep.
I'm so anxious that I'm like,
You're actually increasing the
I'm
risk.
increasing the risk
Yeah.
of like, oh no, I'm checking multiple times. Is my baby safe? Are they? Yeah.
How do you teach the difference between intrusive thoughts and intuition? Because I feel like some moms will say, no, I had a feeling, right? I had a gut feeling that something bad has happened.
So the easiest way I say it, and this is something that comes up with my clients at least weekly when I'm starting with them, gut is a feeling. If there is what ifing, that is an intrusive thought. Are you trying to think of your baby dying right now of SIDS? Probably not at 2 a.m. Oh, I wake up. What if my baby's dead because they're not awake? That's a thought.
Yeah.
Did you have a feeling that something was wrong, or did it come with a
interesting.
thought?
I love that distinction. Yeah.
That is interesting.
Yeah. Gut is somatic, and so is anxiety. But again, did it come with a thought, image, urge?
Thought,
Memory.
image, urge. Okay, I
memory.
like that. I remember like being happy when my child was crying in the back seat because I knew she was breathing.
Yep.
I didn't have to check to make sure she was breathing.
Yeah.
Because she's crying. So
Yep.
obviously she's alive.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and there are, like, we can use tools, right? Like, when I think about, like, crying or the owlet or a baby monitor or things, again, those are, like, maybe we're using some safety measures to be like, I have these thoughts of what if my baby dies of SIDS?
Yeah.
But I have the outlet to go off if I need it, and I'm sleeping in that moment versus constantly checking.
That's, yeah.
I feel like this is something they kind of know about,
Yeah.
but it's so hard to distinguish
Yes.
exactly what it is. So
Yes.
Thank you.
It's so much. So I hope I conceptualize that as well as possible.
I like some of your insights on that.
Yeah. All right. Do you have an affirmation or a mom tip for us today?
Yeah, I said it a couple of times throughout, and I didn't realize how much I said it until I started talking, and I was like, again, at what cost, you know? And I use that as like a motivation for a lot of my clients of being like, at what cost do we continue living and making choices based on these fears or what ifs versus living our life how we want and how we actually like what we value. So can we identify the values and lean into that?
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
I think that's great because as we were talking earlier, we are in such a space that we are told and valued at our level of sacrifice, and that is also a cost, right?
Yeah.
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 I know.
What are we modeling?
Yeah.
Oh, I like
because that's a value too, right? Like, how are we raising our children?
that. Maybe that's why my oldest has some OCD
You've modeled it.
issues.
I mean,
She's
and
like,
I'm
this
like,
helps my mom.
there's like genetic piece of it too. Yeah,
It's there. The poor thing. She's got Derek's and mine and her own, and
I think that's my first
yours,
two.
mine, and ours. Yeah.
I don't know if it's a first child thing. Yeah, like we're gonna expose you to.
Yep. Sorry.
Being late to school.
Yeah. Oh God.
Yeah, we're going to teach you that this is not the end of the world.
Yeah.
It is actually okay.
It's okay.
Did
be
your
late to
teacher
school.
hate you or not?
Right?
Are you failing? I remember the first time she got a B.
Oh, baby.
Oh, it was terrible. It was the worst thing ever. Like, girlfriend, C's get degrees, right?
Nobody cares.
Nobody cares.
Nobody's
Nobody
looking
cares.
at my.
No, nobody looks at my grades when they
Yeah.
say, like, oh, you graduated?
Thanks.
Great, cool. You got
My
a license?
GPA.
Here you go.
That's
Nobody
what it was.
cares. Yeah, the
No,
GPA.
the GPA. I was like, nobody's caring about my GPA that I cared so much about.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, thank you guys for having me.
We
This
are
was so wonderful.
So happy you were
glad you were
here. Is there anything you want to plug? Like, where can people connect with you? Where can they find you?
Yes, so I am on TikTok, on Instagram, Perinatal Wellness. You'll see my name, or I think I have my last name hyphen, but Betty Franco Flores, LCSW, PMHC.
Okay.
Yep.
And your practice?
My practice is in Mill Creek, Utah, but I serve all of Utah virtually, and it's also perinatalwellness.com. So
I'm so happy you were here.
I'm happy you're here, too.
Oh, thank you guys.
Of course. Thank you so much for joining us today, and thank you for showing up for yourself today.
You can find us on Instagram, TikTok, or email us at themommytherapist@gmail.com.
We'd love to hear from you. Let us know what made an impact or what you'd like to hear on a future episode.
Whether it's sitting with uncertainty or maybe teaching your partner how to be a better parent, we hope something good happens today.
See you next week.
Take care.